Hi everybody, how's it going? I'm Pabs, a writing VTuber and an artist, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of character design. Now, if you've been to one of these streams before, I use a website called thisshoedoesnotexist.com to generate a character design based on a shoe, but today I decided to try and mix it up a little bit. So we're going to introduce a second variable, which would be that we are going to get a website that spits out random emojis to spit out 3 emojis that we can also use for inspiration. Now, this will be both a kind of this will be, I will say that it's going to have benefits and downsides. The benefits being that I will have less things to think about because based on the emojis I can craft like a personality, maybe some aspects of the character design, make it a little bit more varied. Because I noticed that a lot of my characters end up looking just like normal dudes, and while that's not necessarily a problem, I wanted the opportunity to make some real freaks out here. So that's going to be the main impetus for this edition. The second... yeah, that's going to be the benefit. The downside is that if the emojis make no sense or are just like actively awful, or like have really bad implications together, I'm just going to have to deal with that. That's going to be my life from then on. We don't get a second shot in these things. But yeah, that's going to be the kind of a constraints that we're working under. I am looking forward to this. I hope that whatever happens is at least a little bit funny. Yeah. Alright, let's head on over to the working screen. Yay. Alright, I'm going to need to pull up the browser source, aren't I? Where did I put my browser source? Oh, it's probably right here, huh? Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's the emoji site. Then we just gotta head up here and go, this shoe does not exist.com. Oh, thank God we're doing the emojis this time around, because I'm sorry, but that is the most plain-ass shoe I have ever laid my underqualified eyes on. Look at that thing. This looks like if the word... This looks like the kind of shoe that they would give to you. I feel like this. If they're okay, so let me paint for you a word picture. This shoe looks like if in the early 2000s they were doing like a 1984 parody for a music video, and they were like showing that everybody's dressed the same to show like to kind of like that's like a metaphor for like, you know, uniformity of the mind or whatever. This would be the shoe that they would make those people wear. That's the kind of plain-ass shoe we're talking about. Oh, this is glorious. Okay, let's just drop that into the canvas. And now for the emojis. This is the part that gets me nervous. Bold emojis on top of clean white could get interesting, but geez, it is just a very... It is like the most normal-ass shoe. The most inoffensive shoe I have ever seen. Like, this shoe is like milk. This shoe is like the water of footwear. Anyway, let's generate these emojis and see what do we got. Okay, already off to a strong start. I don't remember what that character means. Gonna have to Google that. I'm gonna have to Google what that character means. All right, hang on. Let's get these guys in here first. Dystopian mailman. God. Yeah. I do wonder, like, okay, so very, very unlikely, but you do have to wonder if in like 1984 the mail system under Big Brother was efficient or not. Like, this is a motherfucker living in that hell suburb with a wrinkle in time. Barely remember I don't remember A Wrinkle in Time either. I don't think I've seen that movie, actually. But I 100% get what you mean. This is... Did the people in Logan's Run have like a... Hang on. I need to Google something. I've never seen Logan's Run either, but it sounds... Hang on. Alright. I fuck with these outfits, but this is definitely not the kind of shoe that these people would wear. God. This is like a very good kind of a movie poster, though. Alright, I do need to Google what that character means, though, or at least, like, translate what that means. Hang on. Alright. Okay. The Japanese and Korean term... Okay, this... Okay, I want to like bring you guys over to the web browser again so you can see this thing. I'd say definitely read it if you want to experience it in some iteration, but of course reading is much longer than watching. That's true. Okay, the Japanese and Korean term mu, or Chinese wu, meaning not have or without, is a key word in Buddhism. Okay. Yeah, no, that looks like the character that... Oh yeah, that's our guy. That's a guy, officer. That's the dude we're looking for. Okay, so let's see. The old Chinese mob. These are okay. Blah 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 blah. Meanings in some English translations are not, nothing, or without. Pure awareness prior to experience or knowledge. This meaning is used especially by the Chinese school of Buddhism. A negative, caused to be non-existent, impossible or lacking a reason or cause. Non-existence, non-being, not having, lack of, without. The original non-being, which is produced in the Tao Te Ching. Okay. Spicy. This is a spicy emoji to get. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that one. Okay, so, looks like we're gonna have to conceptualize non-existence and non-being. Easy task, I think. People do that all the time. Oh god. Lack of color works, I guess, but this definitely feels like the opposite of what you were looking for. Yeah, it is. I should drink some water. On the other hand, we're like 1/3 of the way there to like... Oh, hi, Luca. Yeah, we're on like 1/3 of the way there to making like some weird mailman version of Goku. Which would be interesting. God, Goku would be really bad. We conceptualizing non-existence? Buddhist mailman? Nothingness swag! Oh god, we really are getting the authentic AI-generated experience over here. But yeah, we're conceptualizing non-existence out here. So we got a kind of like a triple whammy of emptiness. So we got this shoe right here, which is just... I feel like the shoe would actually be like super comfortable. I'm not gonna lie, this shoe looks like it would be super comfortable, but to combine with that, we got the mailbox with the flap up. We got the Chinese character for mu, which is like a Buddhist concept of like nothingness. Then we got a blue circle. I don't know if that blue circle is supposed to be something. Is it just like a blue circle? Is it supposed to be a... Yeah, no, it's a large blue circle emoji. Blue oyster cult. Yeah, it's the large blue circle emoji. Oh god. This is going to be difficult, I feel. Okay. Okay, okay. How are we doing this? I am already in over my head. I love it. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so mail, we think of mail as in, like, letter. Okay, I'm gonna need to use a pink pen. Some kind of nothingness monk messenger is what I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the different interpretations of each of these. So we got proper envelopes. We got a mail bag. We have the U.S. Postal Service uniform, which is shorts, a blue shirt, which would go well with the blue dot, blue circle, whatever, and a jaunty little cap. We got FedEx. We got overnight delivery. Ah, fuck, I've already run out of things for the mailbox. Okay, so for nothingness. Okay, so... For nothingness, there could be a blank, there could be a void, which is different from a blank. I think like blank, to me blank is like white, like pure white, but void is like pure dark. There is simplicity or minimalism. I'm a little nervous to do like Buddhist things because, you know, not being a Buddhist myself, I'm a little nervous about like, you know, I don't know what would cross the line between like respectful interaction with a religion and, you know, inappropriate like cultural appropriation. Lism. That's not how you spell minimalism. There we go. What else is there? That actually reminds me a little bit of the friggin' Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, which has a Book of Void. So maybe some kind of swords person as well? And then blue dot. What the fuck do I do with the blue dot? Earth. Okay. Blue. Circle. Okay. So I will not say with confidence that things are coming together, but we are getting somewhere. Okay, so okay, so first thoughts. Lots of circles. We're using the circle for this. We're using very round shapes. Okay. Should I make the character design very small at first? I think that might be a good idea. Nothingness. Ocean? Ocean is an interesting one. I like ocean. Well, let's throw it in there. Maybe almost like a deep sea fish. We could just end up making one of those blobfishes. That could be fun. God, how old were you guys, you know, when you learned about like salinity pools at the bottom of the ocean? If you don't know about those, they are areas of like super concentrated salination so basically what ends up happening is that very few extremophile organisms or very few extreme organisms are developed to survive in those. So what ends up happening is that you just have like this weirdly high concentration of salty water that, you know, it's like, you know, you go to the ocean, you accidentally swallow some of the water. It happens. You're like, damn, this is like some salty ocean soup. This is like beyond that. This is salty enough that literally touching it will kill you. Alright, you literally cannot touch this pool of water because if you do, it has such high salinity that it will just kill you. And it will kill other things. Which is why very few things can actually kind of like fuck around in there. I don't remember which ones exactly. I remember there was like a snake that could literally like float on top of them. Okay, so thinking here. Okay, so maybe shorts. I am... Okay, so Evil Gremlin Brain says some kind of wannabe Buddhist Taoist dude who like... I'm almost thinking like mall ninja type of guy, like... You know how there's like that classic ideal of like a neckbeard with like a katana and a fedora and everything? I feel like we could almost do one of those, but it's like a legit dude who just happens to be like a postal worker and has like Fred Durst jorts. That might be interesting. What the Book of Five Rings thing. Okay, so shorts. Slightly longer legs. Okay, messenger bag over here. I'm thinking also like a very simplified face. I said I wasn't gonna tiptoe into like Buddhism, but I do kind of want to make this dude bald. I want this to be the most neutral dude ever. No eyebrows either. No, this dude will be nigh featureless. Okay. Okay. So maybe... okay, so maybe almost like... I don't... no eyebrows? No eyebrows. Empty... sometimes you sacrifice a lot of things for emptiness. I'm also thinking like almost like a... I don't know how to... I don't remember how to call them. Hakama? Or something like that? Is that what... like, I remember there's like a specific type of pants that like... that are used in like Aikido and some sword styles in Japan. I think they're also used for Haidom Gumdo. Hakama? No. Hakama... oh wait, no, it is a Hakama. Alright. Yeah, the Kendo Hakama. Good point. Extra points for me for actually remembering the name of this martial arts uniform that I'm about to bastardize. Yeah, I don't know how swordsmen felt about me before, but after this, they are for sure gonna hate me. The most inoffensive dude ever who will take you to his minimalist-ass house and offer you like a sip of Mountain Dew. But it's like actual dew he collected from a mountain flower or something. That's gonna be this guy's kind of deal. Maybe like a big blue dot up here, like some kind of blue gem on his skull. That might be interesting. No thoughts, blue gem... yeah, I'm blue gem maxing on my head. Okay. Then... I need to look up a US Postal Service uniform. Okay, this is a good picture. Yeah, I think they're like comparing like the size of their legs. Like you can see that this dude over here has like a full length leg. But I think this guy's like showing off the fact that only like his knees are tan. Why does his knee look like a face? Why does this man's knee look like it has a face of its own? This dude's just showing off his accursed knee. Okay. Also, I completely forgot to actually look at their shirts, which is why I got that reference. Trying to quietly signal to somebody that there's a demon in his knee. God, yeah, you know, you've heard it a million times. Your buddy Ron from the USPS office gets his knee possessed by a demon. He goes to the doctor. The doctor's like, you need to lose weight, and like that's kind of like the only diagnosis they give him. You know, then he's kind of like showing it off to his buddies at work. Like, okay, what do you guys make of this? Do you think like maybe a little bit of like Beva, you know, a little bit of Vicks will make it go away? And they're like, nah, dude, you gotta get like some proper treatment for that. Yeah, and then this is by the way how the plot of that Faith the Unholy Trinity game started. Just a mailman got his knee haunted. I've never actually played the Faith trilogy. The thing is, right, the Faith trilogy sounds like it's very interesting, but I also feel like I would be scared shitless to play it. Like, I am not gonna lie, unless like I have like people there helping me make fun of the situation, I am not good with horror. Like, I tense up a lot during horror movies. Unless, again, I can like make fun of what's happening there. I feel like there has to be... I feel like it's missing something up top here. Big horn? No, no, that would be so mean. Oh, big blue, like, Jimmy Neutron-ass, like, paintbrush hair. Dare I say, that's not actually, like, bad. Like, I think that looks good. No, it needs to be, like, a straight shot up or like this. Okay, so we've gone from, like, dude who has, like, a gem embedded in his skull to a dude who just has, like, one specific part in the middle of his forehead that grows all his hair. Regular Wednesday night over at the Orisa household. What I am wondering about is what to do with his sleeves. So what I'm actually thinking is maybe, like, have him have, like, fingerless gloves based on the shoes? I think I'm pretty good with movies, but bad with games, because I feel like I'll get spooky murder due to goofing up during gameplay when getting attacked. Oh, I totally feel that. God, I feel like my nightmare playthrough would be playing through that friggin' game Blue Oni, or Ao Oni, or whatever. I feel like there's something especially, like, fucking creepy about, like, old... like, early 2000s RPG Maker games. I would not survive a Blue Oni playthrough. Oni, whatever, what have you. Okay, so we have this shirt here. What I'm actually thinking is maybe... top half? No. Sleeveless. Also doesn't feel right. High sleeve? No. No. Oh, wait, what about, like... Ooh, poofy sleeves. I like poofy sleeves. Imagining you turning into a bowl of rice and scared. God, yeah. I did actually make a headcanon that if I get, like, spooked super bad, I'll just explode into, like, into puffed rice. Like, ah! Like, you just hear a loud pop and I'm gone. And then I just, like, wander on screen a few seconds later. Okay. So there is a lot happening with this design. Okay, I will be the first to admit this. Weirdly enough, the only thing about it that's bothering me is the hair. Like, I want that kind of verticality. I do crave that kind of verticality. Oh, this is something. This is something. Okay, okay. We can combine these technologies. Oh, this is gonna be real. This is gonna be something special, folks. Okay. I'm tempted to make them just like normal hair buns to kind of work with the blue circle. Steps onto the screen after exploding, then introduces a show game like your rod starting on the Twilight Zone. Yeah, you just hear like a loud... And then I wander back on screen like... Man, was that fucked up or what? Anyway, get home safe, everybody. I'll see y'all later. God. It is fucked up that in our society, being like witness to the horrors is not a viable career choice. I witness the horrors every day for free. Okay. I feel like I'm losing the original spark that I had for this idea. Maybe like one of those like afro hairs? Or No, that wouldn't be. I'm not sure what direction I want to take with this. Because on the one hand, I actually kind of want to make this guy look kind of cool. But on the other hand, every single cell in my body is saying, like, he's gonna be cool, but only if you go full silly mode. I don't know what full silly mode looks like, though. He already looks like some kind of, you know, medieval painting. Like, if you've ever seen, like, a medieval painting of, like, the land Snickers, or the land... I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm gonna type it out. Those punks. Okay, wait, can I, like... Hang on. Can I, like, get Wikipedia or something to say that? The word? Landsknecht. Come on. Pronounce land shit. Oh no, okay. Pronunciation. Alright, I'm gonna turn on the desktop audio so you guys can maybe hear this.
Landsknecht.
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 Hang on, I'm gonna turn that up a little.
Landsknecht.
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 Landsknecht. Alright, whatever. We got distracted. I was talking about something. Whatever, roll with it. Yeah, it turns out that, like, I read an article this morning, right? It was talking about how, like, apparently, you know, Wolf of Wall Street, a bunch of Hollywood movies have kind of put this idea into our heads that, like, salesmen have to be, like, these super kind of, alien antenna might be interesting. Horns? No, I'm not feeling horns. Anyway, I was reading this article earlier that was talking about, like, how do you call that? Huh. Some kind of, like, weird connected... Hold on. This is not completely unsalvageable. Okay, I think we can roll with that. I think we can go with that. Charismatic? Yeah. There's, like, this whole idea that... Thank you for bringing me back on my point. There was this whole idea that, like... Thanks to Hollywood movies, like, salesmen are associated with, like, these super high-wheeling, charismatic individuals. And while that's still mainly true for, like, some businesses, it turns out that because of the rise of online shopping, a lot more of being a salesman is now associated with... God, this dude is, like, so shaped. A lot of the modern salesmanship is more about being able to kind of cope with a long sales cycle. So it's not just like, you know, you don't like talk to big decision makers anymore directly. You kind of have to go through several hoops to get, you know, you want to secure a big sale rather than a lot of tiny little sales. And that's kind of like how apparently, like, the sales cycle has changed around a lot in recent decades. And the main thing that I remember about, like, I've never been a salesman, but I did read once I think it was like Arthur Miller or something. It's probably not Arthur Miller. Some very famous playwright who wrote an actual play called The Death of a Salesman. And that novel was about a lot of things, you know, especially according to my English teacher. The round shape on the head you're doing just made me think like, what hats? Got it in one. That was Arthur Miller. Nice. Okay. Also, hi Paps. Hi Kenan. Yeah. Also, what did you say those hats were called? Puto hats? Chinese traditional black hats. Oh, okay. Futo. Okay. Okay, it's also pronounced a futo. Okay. There are these sayings. Okay. I was gonna say. I get the same. Not that one. I get the same reaction with the rice desert. Oh yeah. I did see like. I remember seeing. God. You just know this motherfucker got wisdom. You just know this guy has Confucian teachings out the ass. Yeah, it is a very fancy hat. Like that is a hat of like social stature. All right, that is like a hat. You are hot shit if you wear that hat in ancient China. I'll tell you what. Anyway, this isn't a baby. This is a full-grown man who is, and I'm gonna try to summarize this as best as I can. A void-dwelling mailman who also happens to be a samurai, who wears this specific type of shoe. Yeah, I remember, I think I know which dessert you're talking about, because I remember back when the pandemic first hit, a lot of... I remember this specifically because like it was something that cheered me up when I was like doing really badly and really anxious in the grocery store because of the whole coronavirus. I remember seeing like these like Filipino snacks or something like that were like called like putitos or something like that, and I just had to do like a triple take. I was like, oh wait, what does that say? Yeah. Yeah, the canon. Yes, that is exactly what we're doing. Listen, we started with these 3 emojis and this shoe. I think we've gotten to a respectable place, all things considered. Oh god. Okay, and then just the roundest fucking head you have ever seen in your life. These eyes don't look like serene, they look pained. These eyes look like if they just got their noodle delivery and they saw that like whoever delivered them was like dipping their fingers into the broth. Elaborate backstory. I mean, it might be. I haven't cooked up a backstory for this guy just yet. Let me try to do... okay. And then kind of put those closer to around here. Yeah, the no eyebrows thing really just does add a whole new kind of like dimension to this. Puto, the Filipino steamed rice cake. I always think of the ones with cheese on top. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that does sound really tasty. Rice cake with cheese on top. God. Oh, posture check. Thank you. Yeah, I remember... I miss, like, this... I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. My mom used to make this friggin... this Ecuadorian dish. I think it was... I don't... Oh, summon a rice piece. At once. Hang on. There we go. The beast is summoned. Oh, that's like a really big rice beast. I gotta make him a little smaller. Okay. Oh yeah. Speaking of posture, exciting news. I finally bitten the bullet and decided to use my workplace's health benefit to order myself one of those fancy like rising and lowering desks that you can switch from like a sitting desk to a standing desk. Yeah, my company has like this benefit that they introduced, and essentially you can blow like a fair amount of money you know, you still get taxed on it when you pay your taxes, but you do get like the opportunity to get back some of the money you spent on, like, you know, sports equipment or like a nice desk. So I'm very grateful for that, and I used it to buy myself a nice desk for my home, and a chair, Yeah, a desk, some monitor arms, and a chair. I went a little ham, and hang on, I gotta figure out like the kind of structure of this, because I'm picturing like 2 bands and then the kind of... Okay, so here's the question. Yeah, new home office. Yeah, that is literally the reasoning I cited behind the expense, is that I need a new home office because it was 8 degrees Celsius when I stepped out of my apartment this morning. And if I have to go to work every day in that temperature, I am going to die. I've always joked that I'm like a monitor lizard or something secretly, because whenever like the temperature begins dropping, I just do not function for the rest of the day. Like if I spend any meaningful amount of time outside, I just need like an hour or something to recover once I get to wherever the fuck I'm going. And those are like high temperatures. This is like the beginning of winter over here. Jeez. It's a small comfort knowing that I don't even live in the coldest place in this country. But that just terrifies me. That's not comforting, that just terrifies me. Local VTuber turned into frozen rice pudding. No, Ma, come pick me up. They turning my ass into fucking ice cream mochi. Okay. Yeah, I do picture this guy having like smooth hair. So it'll have to kind of like eventually end up out of the bun and into like something like that, because you can't like... No, wait, hang on. I remember having a friend of mine who had like one of the, like a donut-shaped scrunchy thing that she could like literally tuck her hair into like a cylinder into. So it's not out of the question to have that. Yeah, those are a thing. Yeah. God, the main reason I remember them, though, is because I remember there was like a TV commercial. Yeah, I never got the hang of those. Yeah, I remember she showed it to me because she used to do like figure skating as a kid, and that used to be like a critical piece of equipment for her. A little bit of double chin for my man over here. Okay. I do want to try and make maybe something a little different than just like a normal strap for the bag here. Anyway, the main reason I remember those things isn't actually because of the fact that my friend showed me to them once. The main reason I remember it is because I remember there was like a TV commercial for what I am almost certain is a made-up show, where they had like some Eastern European woman who like just moved to New York for some reason. And she did a bid where she was talking to somebody wearing one of those hair accessories, and after she finished like talking, she was like, "Now I am very hungry. Can I please eat a donut on your head?" That is the main reason I remember those accessories. God. People who do like ballet and figure skating are donuts. One of the most heartbreaking things to me that is, as I've gotten older, is that I realize that I no longer have as much of a sweet tooth. That is a fucking tragedy, my dude. I used to be so good at baking sweets, and I used to do it all the time. And now I just don't do it anymore, because I realize, like, oh man, I'm gonna have to eat all of these. And like, I'll only have like, I'll like keep eating at them, pecking away at them day by day, bit by bit, but like, it's not like before where they like actively brought me joy. Now it's just like, I'm by the kitchen, I might have myself a little snack. It's not like, I used to be like, oh fuck yeah, a little snack for me. It's more of like a matter of them just being there and being convenient than me actually enjoying them. I still got mine. Nice! Yeah, treasure it, treasure it. Eating just out of habit and not out of joy. I get that. It's not a great thing, but it does keep your blood sugar level up throughout the day. You know, it's the same thing with like sunflower seeds, you know? Actually, that's not a fair comparison. I love sunflower seeds. Yeah, Pab's hamster moments. Oh god. You finally found out my secret. All this time, I've actually just been hamtaro and eaten B-tubing. I'd say that's why you make them co-workers' problems, but co-workers often are not very efficient at demolishing baked goods. Everybody experiencing the same sweet tooth evolution. Yeah. Yeah. I wish, like, part of, you know, that's natural, though. Like, it's very natural that your tastes change as you get older. That's what I've been led to understand. And that's fine. But also, or has diabetes or need to watch their sugar. Yeah, no, like, I live in an office where there's like at least 3 dudes running around who are into like that whole like, you know, oh, you know, we gotta eat that paleo diet. We gotta like make sure we don't eat any carbohydrates except on these very strategic occasions. I got like 3 of those dudes running around in my office. So I don't think they would take too kindly to just like random surprise cookies. My other coworkers would, but like at the same time, there's also that thing, right? Like, after COVID, just bringing over baked goods has not had, like, the same kind of effect. Like, it is more about the thought, for sure, now, than it is about the actual, like, people eating them. At least to me, right? Like, I remember that a bunch of people actually put together, like, a potluck one time in the office, and that was fairly successful, but that was, like, a coordinated effort, and they still had a lot of leftovers. Yeah, the fucking board meeting discussion on how to like dupe your coworkers into getting rid of the sweets that you've baked for you. Yeah, panel happening at 11. Leftovers, the bane of every workplace. Yeah, leftovers when you cook for yourself are awesome. Leftovers when there's like a work event are kind of a hassle unless you brought over like a Tupperware container. Fun fact, last week they yeah, this actually reminds me of a story that happened to me last week. I think I might have told it on stream. I didn't stream last week. So yeah, I guess this is the first time you'll be hearing this story. That's fun. So last week, my workplace does this thing every Thursday where they have like a quick kind of get together with the whole team. You know, it's nice. It's nice. It feels nice. It gets a little too noisy for me sometimes. Tupperware should be mandatory part of the work uniform. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it gets a little too loud for me at those gatherings sometimes, but I enjoy them. It's like a nice chance to like knock off a little bit of work. It's a nice chance to like chat with some of your coworkers when it's not like too loud. They have snacks. It's nice. This time around, though, right? This time around, they brought around sandwiches and a huge bowl of salad. 2 huge bowls of salad, actually. One problem, though. By the time I and my team got there to fuck up the snack table, all the plates had already been used up. Like, all the plates that were meant to be for the salad, I imagine some people also use them for, like, the sandwiches and everything. The plates for the salad were already gone. They were slain in battle. They had been all consumed. There were just not any more plates. And, you know, they had, like, still this stupid huge bowl of salad left. Like, literally, one of the salad bowls was unopened. Well, no, it was open, but, like, nobody had touched it because there was just no way to eat it because everybody had taken all the plates. And, well, myself being the enterprising individual that I am, and craving a little bit of greenery for my meal that night, came up with a cunning and devious plan. Which is to say, I found the, which is all to say that I found the lid for the salad bowl in the recycling bin, picked it up, washed it off, and just took the salad bowl home with me. Because I didn't bring any Tupperware. either. I just like got the lid, cleaned it up because like I don't know how it is in your guys' area. The recyclable bins here are like pretty dry. It's not like you're going to have a lot of contamination. So if you rinse it off, it's fine. At least, you know, I hope so. For my sake, mainly. But yeah, I just kind of like napped the lid and I took this whole salad bowl with me. Yeah, no wet and recycling. Yeah, you usually like it's common courtesy to like wash out the bottle at least, so that, like there's no like syrup in it or anymore. I should drink some water. Speaking of wet stuff. But yeah, that's the story of how I caught that entire salad bowl bigger than my head as a meal last Thursday. It is good to be me. Oh yeah. God, yeah, that one night, like the thing is as well, it was a really big fucking salad bowl. Like I'm not like overemphasizing how big the salad bowl was. Like it's supposed to be like a party platter thing. And I just ended up eating it over the course of like an hour and a half because I was just like, the way I was doing it, right, is that I was actually playing Holocure again. I was playing Holocure, and you know, like, but whenever I leveled up or something, I would take like another bite, and I would just like chew on that while I would play rabbit mode. Yeah, exactly. Really fletcherizing the fuck out of those vegetables. God. Fletcherization was such a funny fad. So if you're not familiar, yeah, the new gamer fuel of choice salad. If you're not familiar with Fletcherization, what it is that this dude, like Thomas Fletcher, I think his name was, he started this health fad in the 1800s, which is still practiced to some extent to this day, where he argued that in order to digest stuff properly and to be healthy, you needed to chew it until the food was almost literally liquid. To be fair, yeah, you had to like just keep masticating until the food literally just like slid down your throat. Now, if that sounds unhealthy and gross to you, that's because it was. Baby food lover? Yeah. Yeah, he was like, if you need to make any effort to swallow, then you have failed as a dietitian or like as a nutrition enthusiast. Anyway, the reason his findings had any grounding whatsoever was because he was like 50, like he was like fairly old. Like I think he was like 70 or something, and he could still do like vigorous physical exercise at like a Harvard lab long after he should have been like past his prime. This hand is either way too low or this dude just has very stumpy arms. Anyway. So yeah, that caught on for a long time. That's part of the reason why like there was like, you know, there is some truth to it. You do need to chew vegetables a little bit more thoroughly to, you know, properly digest them. That's why that's kind of like where that thing from like you have to chew your carrots like 10 times before you swallow them comes from. The wiki says he died at 69. Nice. Anyway, yeah, the reason you probably shouldn't Fletcherize your food, even though this dude is like fucking strong, is because if you chew your food to that extent, it is just not going to have any fiber in it anymore. And if you don't have fiber in your diet, uh-oh, you're constipated. Yeah, so remember to get your fiber. Don't trust weird health fads. If we were supposed to chew food like 70 million times, somebody would have figured it out a much longer time ago. Yeah, that's kind of my message. Fat fiber was a chemical type thing, not an actual physical attribute. I mean, it's not really a chemical. It's more like it's literally just, okay, so like, it's literally just like tough material that you can't really digest. So like, if you have broccoli, right? If you have like a thing of broccoli, pretend that's broccoli, and you chew it, there's going to be like little components of it, but there's also going to be just like plant matter that you cannot digest, which is going to look like thin strands like this. And that's good for your digestion, you know, because everything else needs like something to clump onto as you digest. I am not going to go into any more detail than that. Okay, and there we go. Yeah, you can actually buy fiber, like... Well, obviously you can buy fiber, but you can buy like fiber supplements. Yeah, you can buy fiber supplements to actually enhance your fiber intake if you don't get enough, but like you're probably getting enough. You know, if you have like a relatively healthy gut, you're probably getting enough fiber. You know, if you eat at least like one vegetable a week, you're probably getting enough fiber. Like the thing, you know, just because things have less fiber doesn't mean that they have no fiber. If that makes sense. I'm kind of starting to like this little guy. Yeah, this is exactly why I wanted to introduce the emojis. If I had just gotten this shoe from nothing, I would have made the most boring milquetoast type motherfucker in existence. This guy though, this guy has some flavor. This guy has some kick. You know, there's like something here. It might not be the perfect design, it might not be like the #1 design. Yeah, this guy's got spices, herbs and spices, baby. Okay. Yeah. I remember there was like yeah, herbs and spices. I remember hearing on Bandcamp this one like British reggae techno musician called like Phlox or something, and that guy actually had some pretty decent tunes. I liked his music. Yeah. The only good thing that the British have ever contributed to the world is drum and bass. I will stand by this. And then just kind of like that. There we go. This also does, however, imply that the shirt kind of goes to around here, which is kind of funny. Maybe we could almost like make it poke out of here. Oh, that might be interesting, actually. You know, just have the shirt that's so long that it just like peeks past the shorts. Yeah, you look at him and you think, oh, those are probably like his pockets peeking out of the bottom of the shorts, like in like short shorts. No. God. Did anybody else watch the regular show? I remember a friend of mine introduced it to me when I was like 10. And he was like, yeah, dude, this is going to be the best show you've ever watched. And I'm like, psh, okay, sure. And then it was like one of the better cartoons that I ever enjoyed. Like, there was a very, like, I'm not one of those people that like watches children's cartoons on the regular. I still watch anime sometimes, very seldom. But like, I don't really watch, I'm not like one of those people who like regularly watches children's cartoons. So occasionally to my benefit. I've heard like good stuff about like the Owl House and everything. But, you know, that's not my bag usually. There was, however, a very brief amount of time when I was like, you know, still like young enough to be reasonably into them, and I enjoyed watching them. And that was around the time when I watched most of Adventure Time. I think up to like season 5. I say most. That's probably like not even halfway through. And I watched quite a bit of the regular show as well. And I like honestly like really enjoyed the regular show and Adventure Time and all those. They were very good. Yeah, these were the times when any red-blooded teenager could legally acquire episodes upon episodes of cartoons over the internet. Clarity of mind be damned. Okay. Should I, like... Okay, so I'm actually thinking I maybe, like, not have this, like, cleanly separated like that, but instead have it, like, hang out like this. Yeah, okay. How are we for time? Oh, we've still got an hour left. It's fine. I like the idea that this is, like, one of those, like, pants that are tied together by a belt like this, but also just happen to have a zipper. Okay. So then the next step would be the swords and the shoes. Now I'm gonna need to bring the shoe reference a little bit closer. Come here, little man. Come here. Okay. Let's shrink that down a little bit, maybe. You can very much tell that this is supposed to be like a Nike shoe or like a New Balance shoe. Hang on. Like you can see that from the DNA of the shoe here. It's like some kind of it's like a Chuck Taylor, but like sports car mode. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then over here. There we go. And then like this. Perfect. Alright, that's one of the shoes done. And then the other one. Or I could just flip it around. No, this one would be at a slightly different angle. Yeah, I imagine these guys would also be like pointed almost. Like these guys have like a proper point to them. These are not pointless shoes. Yeah, that would be the tagline to these sneakers. These are not pointless shoes. Okay, there we go. Wario tennis type sneaker. I do wonder why they call them sneakers. Is it because like they don't make too much noise when you walk with them? I might take a little sidebar here to check out the sneaker etymology. Hang on. Etymology sneaker. One who sneaks. Thanks, brigand. Okay, meaning rubber-soled shoe is attested from 1895. So called because the shoe was noiseless. Oh, okay, so it was because of that. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Ah, who am I kidding? My schedule ain't regular. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Yeah, I do like that. That always like impressed me for people who do stream on regular set days of the week. Is that they just have that kind of permanent, that like, not even discipline, but almost like ability to say confidently, yeah, I'm streaming Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Like, just the ability to say that. Like, but what if you want to stream earlier? What if you have something on Thursday and they're like, I'll just deal. Or, you know, they'll just, like, change up the date. But, like, I feel like I need to have that flexibility of not having, like, a set schedule. I need to have that ability to be a little wishy-washy. Okay, and then... Man, if I get another Chinese... What are the odds that, like, next time I do this and I also pull out the emojis, I'm just gonna get, like, the exact same set? Or, like, I get another Chinese character / kanji or whatever that I got this time around. That would be... What are the odds of that? I would like to know, like, exact digits, because I feel like it would be very low, but not low enough that it couldn't happen. Like, I mean, how many emojis are there, actually? Not counting Unicode ones, because Unicode ones are plethorious. That's not a real word. Plethorious is probably not a real word. Plethoricus? Plethoriad? Myriad. Myriad sounds about right. It's about myriad. I remember it's supposed to specifically mean like 1,000, but in like the old context of 1,000. Like usually when you used to say like 1,000 of something, it just meant so many that you couldn't count. You couldn't reasonably count them. Like if somebody said like from the one thing was born 1,000 things, that was kind of your shorthand way of knowing. Okay, so there's just like a shitload of things. There's just like way too many things that you don't even need to bother counting them, because there's just so many that it's just a futile effort. Okay, and this other sword right here. Okay. Yeah, there we go. And the other wire here. I say wire, this is more like a rope or some kind of tie. The binding. There we go. And like that, and then like that. And like that. Well, while you did overnight delivery, I studied the blade. I am the guy delivering your Amazon package. God, I really cannot get this desk out of my head because, like, God, sometimes shipping deadlines are very, like, useful in that they tell you more or less. I have a love-hate relationship with package tracking. Because on the one hand, I love knowing when package is going to arrive, but on the other hand, if it's been like 3 days, so cool that they let package delivery carriers sword now. They deserve it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, they're trying to avoid a New Vegas type scenario where like one of the best delivery people in the industry got shot. You know, now they've taught the mailman how to parry bullets. It's a whole different ball game. Yeah. Unfortunately, as per usual, private carriers were a little bit further along the curve, and now UPS delivery people do have access to gun swords. Yeah, nobody's stealing packages now. Yeah, the privatized firms, however, are already on like gun sword shit. Like they've already gotten like the DLC and everything. Yeah. U.S. postal workers still have just normal swords, but your fucking average FedEx guy has a lightsaber. Yeah. UPS still has, just normal gun swords, but some say that they are more effective than the lightsaber at mid-range delivery. Yeah. Past certain levels, I'm not supposed to tell you guys this, but once you do get to like black card membership levels of the U.S. Postal Service, you are privy to the, I heard this from a friend of mine. You are privy to the orbital rail cannon that they use to deliver high priority mail, and you are allowed to choose once a year as a funny little perk, one location to shoot a small tungsten rod at of your choosing. Most people choose in Nevada Desert for obvious reasons, but one time somebody did choose like the Eiffel Tower, and they weren't sure if they could mail that because it was outside of the U.S. It was this whole thing. Anyway, he ended up getting his thing refunded, and they just sent a tungsten rod to his house. What does tungsten do? Oh, it's nothing special. It's just one of the hardest materials, so if you drop it from orbit, it will not shatter on impact. It's not like depleted uranium where it does fun stuff like explode. Or, set whatever it's firing on fire. Fun fact, I learned today that the pure gold has a most hardness scale of 2.5, while your fingernail only has one of about 2. So theoretically, if you were so inclined, I think that means you could probably try and scratch pure gold with your bare fingernail and come out pretty well off on the exchange, all things considered. So theoretically, you can use gold to like cut your fingernail, but you can use your fingernail to cut gold also, or scratch gold at least. Granted, if you're using pure gold to scratch your fingernail, I think you have like worse issues. I think you have like specific problems that I'm not very well equipped to address. God. That does remind me that apparently... Well, it doesn't remind me of anything. I just remembered reading this morning. Oculus... Okay, so the company that made Oculus has a developer who apparently was, unsurprisingly, obsessed with Sword Art Online. Yeah, that's what you find out with a lot of people in like tech fields, is that they just read a lot of comics or something as a kid and were like, hey, what do I need to do to make that happen in real life? Unfortunately, in this case, he did actually make a Oculus headset that could kill you. Naturally, it's just as a bit. They're not gonna like put it into production or anything. But this dude did straight up develop an Oculus headset that could kill you because he just loves Sword Art Online that much. And gotta say, I don't like that that's like an actual direction for people to like develop technology in. God, Oculus headset that kills you. Oculus headsets already kill me. I have motion sickness. I don't actually know if I get motion sickness from VR. I haven't had enough of an opportunity. I'm gonna give this guy a big old mole right here. I don't know if like Oculus headsets will kill me. I haven't done enough VR to know like if I get super motion sick or not. Okay. Time has come. So, naturally we're gonna give this dude, like, a lot of blue. Just all around. The emoji thing is so cool. Yeah. Blue labadee dabadai. Black eyes. Oh god, that's kind of terrifying. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do like a whole bunch of blues right now. And then... maybe like really dark blue for the Hakama. Then like pure, almost pure white for the shirt. Then USPS uniforms have never looked so sexy. I'm glad you have that opinion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a pity there aren't many blue metals rolling around. Like the only kind of bluish blue, I mean sapphires obviously, but the only kind of bluish mineral that I can think of is lapis lazuli. And again, sapphire, but like whatever. Sapphires are metal? Okay, that's true. I'm thinking of gemstones. I would like... Okay, so I think my thought process was lapis lazuli. Oh wait, but sapphires are a thing too. But I was already like on the topic of metals. I know that you can... There is like a treatment of steel that is called blue steel. Like there is like bluing steel. No, sapphires are precious stones. And also like a really weird... A really purple prosy way of saying blue eyes. God, her sapphire orbs is a phrase that continues to haunt me to this day. Okay. White belt? Cyan belt? Oh yeah, that's... Okay, that's doing something for me. This is more of a violet, so it's a little bit of cheating, but that's fine. Okay, I think the main thing to do is to figure out where the whites are going to be and where the blues are going to be, because I don't want there to be too much overlap between the two. Friggin' Marge Simpson ass hair. Okay, skin tone. A little too pink there. Redder. Yeah, kind of like having like a sickly purple hue might be interesting. We can figure out the skin tone a little bit more in a minute. Blue shirt underneath. Should I just do an even whiter shirt underneath? I think that might be a good idea. Not white enough just yet. No, I kind of like the kind of like cyan there. Okay, so let's play around a little bit with this. Maybe boost the saturation? No, lower the saturation, I think, a little bit. Luminosity looks good. Oh man, what is going... I kind of like this one, honestly. The green skin is doing something for me. Okay. And now we can kind of introduce the cyan color. Okay, I think these are gonna have to be like a silvery color, or like a kind of iron or steel color. And then a kind of yellow, kind of inner foil like here. No, that's not the right shade of yellow. Like, kind of more like this. Maybe even more orange. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, maybe we need, like, something that's bright orange to kind of contrast here. No. No. Maybe. No. No. Maybe. No. Alright, I'll figure it out soon enough. Well, I think like just having the hair tie be orange might be good enough. Okay. And this one right here. Actually, this might have been better as like white pips. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, then this part here. Then this part here. What color should I make that? Probably white again. Or maybe the same color as a satchel. That might be a better call. There's definitely something missing from this design. Or at least this color scheme. Let me play around a little bit with the tonal correction or gradient mapping and see what we can do with this. Okay, this might be interesting. And it's such a shame that we have to choose just one. Okay. Okay, yeah. Now I think we're kind of like working with something a little bit stronger, maybe. Yeah, okay. So we'll combine these two layers so that this is kind of like the predominant color. Yeah, I think I might have just been going a little too dark. Okay, then... There we go, making... And I think what would also help is probably making the lines themselves like a little bit bluer. There we go. And then, you know, from there we can actually do a little bit more with the swords and everything. Nah, I think I liked him as he was. Okay, so now we can do just a little bit of shading, and then I think we can call it a night. Okay. I'm honestly really happy with how this design came out, given how much of a panic I was in when we were first approaching it. Really managed to turn that situation around, I'll tell you. Okay, there we go. Is a forehead gem company mandated or a personal choice? I think that one's probably just him. I think that's definitely just a him kind of thing. It would be cool if he just got, welcome to your first day at the company. Here, we're gonna weld this gem to your skull. It is company property, so we'll have to take it back when you're terminated, though. God, that would suck. Yeah, I think it's definitely more of a personal choice body modification then. I mean, what kind of awful reality would we be living in if mailmen had to have, like, forehead beam attacks just to do their job? I mean, he's already got the sword. I mean, that's true, but, like, I feel like dogs can be vicious. You fucking... You just see your dog, like, yapping at the mailman, and the mailman just fucking puts his hands on his forehead and just, like, vaporizes your fucking dog. And you're like, oh man. I told that dog not to get too close to the mailman. Yeah, express package directly to the pearly gates for that dog. I was imagining an ice beam attack where the dog gets frozen and a hunk of ice just drops with a thunk. That is so much funnier. Honestly, yours is so much funnier. We'll go with that. It's like an ice type beam. It's like a freeze ray. Or it's an ice ray. There's a difference between an ice ray and a freeze ray. I remember watching Dr. Horrible as a kid and being like, okay, there needs to be a difference between an ice ray and a freeze ray. That's the only thing I took away from that musical. That and nothing else. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Nah, it's not good to make too much shadow right there. I think even this, it might be a little too much, so let's just soften that up. There we go. The shadows. What is he hiding down there? I was worried it was going to look like a pea stain, but you can make it, like, ominous if you want. Like, I was worried it was going to look like a pea stain. That was my main concern, was that it would look like a pea stain. Pea stain is like the funniest word. It's like it's like the funniest, most inoffensive word there can be, I think. Like, piss boy mailman. Jesus Christ, we're all stop. He's already lost his will to live. Yeah, that's a one counter to the freeze ray beam attack is you throw some water on his shorts and just act like he peed himself. That's the one defense that your dog has. You know, that's like the last defense of kings is pretend your enemy pissed himself. 500-page graphic novel about his adventures. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's gonna be mostly just him delivering mail. I like to imagine that like even though he looks like this, he's just like the most normal ass the last defense of kings. God, Lancer has so many good skill names. Throw water and make yeah. I wasn't supposed to tell you guys this. I did find this 37th stratagem. There's a Chinese strategy book called like the 36 stratagems. I did find the 37th stratagem, and it literally just says throw water on their pants and make it look like they peed themselves. Always works. Anyway, I like to imagine that this guy is just the most normal-ass dude ever outside of work. Yeah, humiliation is effective. That is true. Yeah, do them dirty in front of their dad. Okay, then over here we're gonna use the same kind of blue over here. Unless they're into it. Well, we don't talk. Well, you know, that's what they don't tell you, right? Is that you can't, like, when it comes to a life or death battle, you have to exploit every means available to you. Yeah, he's just going to a bar to drink beer. He like asks if he can pull up a seat next to you, and you just hear a loud clunk as he just quietly deposits his katanas right next to you. And he just goes to the bathroom and is like, watch my sub, and you're like, how? You left a literal bag full of mail and two master grade katanas just lying around. Yeah, he's a dense little man. Yeah, the dude has heft to him. No, that's not quite right. There we go. Now that's much better. Okay. And then like that, and then like that. Perfect. But yeah, I kind of I unironically love fat characters who do like martial arts and stuff, because it does make me, like, it makes me smile, right? Like, seeing like just a big dude just like moving, you know, being like having control of his body, having like that kind of physical awareness. It just makes me happy to see. You know. Oh, hydrate, thank you. Okay. But yeah, I do notice that this time around, at least, it was a little bit easier to actually design the character. It was like mainly still the colors that got to me. Like, you have a flight headset? Oh, yeah, I sure do. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, that was for the, what do you call? Where is it? Was it okay, I think it... Was it like NASA or something like that? NASA headset? Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was for the Kerbal Space Program streams. Alright, let me plonk that on my big old dome. Alright, we're entering a little bit of turbulence during the stream, so make sure to have your seatbelt. The seatbelt sign is on, so make sure to tighten your seatbelts and prepare for a little bit of a bumpy ride. I love using that voice filter. Ever since I've wrapped up Valhalla, I haven't had much of a chance to use it. Alright, now I wasn't supposed to tell you guys this, but I do let a Rice Beast pilot the plane sometimes. Rice Beast, get your headset out. Gotta play more games with robots? That is fair. That is one solution. Now, if Rice Beast wore a flight headset, would he wear it like this or like this? Oops, that's a little too small on the flight headset. Rice Beast at the controls, how will we horrifically crash? I like to imagine that Rice Beast is actually just very good at a lot of different tasks. Like, I'll be like, okay, this is clearly... I clearly don't know how to pilot a plane. Rice Beast, you take over, and Rice Beast just does the most graceful, smooth landing you've ever seen in your life. I do like to imagine that Rice Beast is just enormously talented. Yeah. Rice Beast has, like, friggin' anime protagonist levels of learning fast. I keep underestimating the Rice Beast. I will surely get beat up by them one day by this. I mean, they'll just bite you. It's fine. They bite me all the time. It doesn't even hurt that much. It's like a love bite, but it is kind of... You know, it freaks you out the first time it happens. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you will see, like, their giant gaping maws. And, there's a lot of teeth in there. Like a gluten kitty. Yeah. But yeah, they have a lot of teeth. This little white bastard's got teeth. Sharp teeth. You didn't tell me there was a Rice Beast in your home. Full of gluten and love. Precisely. Okay, and then we're gonna have, like, a... Yeah, oh fuck, a Rice Beastie. I have been thinking that I ought to do more with the Rice Beast. I feel like they... Like, I could almost make, like, a Minions-esque spin-off with them. Yeah, we'll just have, like, a Rice Beast gacha game. Yeah. They are a very good mascot. I am proud that, like if you had plushies, we would buy, yeah. I will say, though, that, like, given the comments that I've received over a lot of time, like, given the comments that I've received over a lot of time, I'm scared that if I ever make a plushie of myself, people will treat it like the Spamton plushie. Like, they'll just grab me by my rice head and just fucking chuck me at the wall full of milk. That is a very real and very, almost, I feel, reasonable fear. Yes, the Spamton plushie treatment. That commercial is so unhinged. The thing is, it's just like it's an excellent commercial, but it's such an awful experience. Like, I felt like I was actually being held hostage while I watched that commercial. I felt like I was in the Saw movies and the friggin' little puppet bastard was, like, torturing me by watching this plush get just hit the fuck up. God. One time, I was watching a YouTube video with a friend of mine. Phantom to, like, come to life and kill me, like, in the ring. I mean, how do you know he didn't? How do you know that maybe Spamton did come to life, seeking vengeance for the wrongs done upon him, and just maybe he wasn't tall enough to reach the door handle, and so he couldn't enter your house. Like, the chances of that happening are low, but we can't say they're absolutely zero. Sorry if that freaks you out. I didn't mean for that to like be freaky, but like, I am saying that. I think like if there was a horror movie where a Spamton plushie came to life to seek vengeance, it would just not do a very good job. No, it's cool. Okay, cool. Okay, and then for the face cheeks. Okay. Should I give this guy like big rosy cheeks? Nah. Have you touched Deltarune Chapter 2? I haven't touched it yet. Really? Huh, okay. Yeah, I played Deltarune Chapter 2 when it first dropped. It was a really good time. I remember distinctly because I was watching I was visiting my parents for a little bit, and that's when it dropped, and I was like, oh boy, time to let Mr. Tobias Fox absolutely wreck me with emotions once again. I'm just bad at getting to games in a timely manner. I mean, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Using the soft eraser a little bit back here. I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I've had Elden Ring in my games library for almost like a year now, and I still haven't properly started a playthrough of it. I think I'm going to probably like start the playthrough on stream, but I don't know if like I'll actually finish it. I do want to try to at least go for like a fist fighter build at one point in Elden Ring, though. Games. There's too many of them, and I'm very bad at them. God. Yeah, that does happen as well, that like sometimes it's just not even like that that's why I have gaming streams, is because I need like to have that time to actually play video games, so I don't let all of them pass me by. I'm still missing a fair chunk, but at least like it's not all of them, you know? Yeah. That's why I'm always kind of relieved whenever a new game comes out and I hear that it's just dog shit, because then I'm like, okay, phew, so I'm not missing anything. Like, I remember I was like thinking about playing that Saints Row spin-off, like, what do you call them? Agents of Mayhem. I was like, alright, do I want to play this? And then I looked at all the reviews that said the game was garbage, and I'm like, no I don't, thank God. It's certainly a weird feeling to have, but I don't think, you know, if you're going to, like, spend time on a game, you might as well enjoy that time. There's no use kind of like forcing yourself to play a game you don't like, unless like you really want to like experience the narrative or something. Like, and that's kind of the situation that I have with Killer 7. I did not start out enjoying Killer 7, but like over time I just kind of like came to actually enjoy the game. The game is very difficult at first, but like over time I came to enjoy it. Okay, and then like, here we go. I mean, if you really just don't want to play a game or just can't, you can always like do what I do and just play like and just like have like a silent playthrough of it going on in the background while you do stuff. That's how I quote unquote played the first two No More Heroes games. I just watched the German streams of them. Yeah, unfortunately I do hear that the first two No More Heroes games EC ports were like kind of garbo, which is why I'm not super enthused in purchasing them for dollarinos and money. Or purchasing them, period, even without dollarinos and money. But yeah, as long as you definitely, as long as you make time to play the games that like you want to experience, I think you're doing well enough. That being said, I do not think of myself as somebody who ever like hops on trends. Like, everybody's playing Sonic Frontiers right now, and I want to play Sonic Frontiers right now, but I know for a fact that if I get myself Sonic Frontiers right now, it will go untouched in my Steam library for at least a month. I don't even know if I want to play Sonic's Frontier specifically. I just want to see if it recaptures the same feeling that I had playing Sonic in the Dark Knight for the first time as a child in 2008 or 2009 or whatever. Anyway, this guy's almost done. We're almost finished with our boy over here. My boys are blocking this elevator. Yeah, tech plus some lack of preservation has really screwed over some franchises. That's true as well. Got any names? For what exactly? Oh, for the guy. Right, okay. How about something blue? For the guy, yeah. It took me a second, yeah. Names for this tall glass of water. I almost imagine this is what Tool's human form would look like. But like, probably not the same as this, but how about for the short stack of pancakes? For this shot glass of vermouth. How about... I'm like staring deep into his eyes. I'm staring at the void, hoping the void will like give me its name. This guy looks like a Terry to me. Terry the delivery man. He looks like a Terry to me. Terry, my boy Terry. Terry Hints from hit game Leaves of the Painful. No. Yeah, I think this guy looks like a Terry to me. Terry, my boy Terry. I'm gonna name this file Terry, my boy Terry. Alright. And so he is christened before the Lord Terry. Okay. Yeah, I think it's about time I ended stream. Thank you all for stopping by. Terry, my boy Terry. That's actually not a bad one. Oh, I might... His full Christian name, yes. At his baptism. Okay. Anyway, I think I'm gonna end stream here. Thank you all for stopping by. On Saturday, I will be playing through some Flash games from an older series called Eyes Maze. Eyes Maze, that I played as a kid, and I'm very excited to return to those. In the meantime, enjoy your Thursday and Friday. I will see you all later. Bye.